Warning. The following scenes may contain references to power pages and portals which some listeners may find disturbing, especially if you've struggled with poor training in the past.
Hey all, Franco Musso here. Yes, I've hacked your podcast feed. I've held John and Mike hostage, but don't worry, I got my wires crossed and I'm actually paying them a small ransom in the form of sponsorship. Go figure. So, by popular demand, I'm cooking up 2 brand new offerings to help you get your portal projects off the ground in 2024. The first is my group coaching program launching in March. Join me and a cohort of other budding portal makers for live coaching sessions, weekly live training, office hours, Q&A and surgeries. I'll guide you through the process from zero to launch, all at a fraction of the cost of hiring a freelancer or a contractor. It's like having a trusted partner on hand, helping you avoid the pitfalls, saving you a ton of money, headache and time. Plus, you're bound to learn lots from others in the group as we discuss their experiences, challenges and solutions. To apply, head on over to francomusso.com/group-coaching. You can now take your fingers out of your ears and enjoy the awesome that is Sprint Zero.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Sprint Zero podcast. My name is Mike Gowland and I'm here with my co-partner rat in crime, John Russell. Say hello, John.
Hello, how are you all doing? Everyone okay?
I'm hoping everyone's okay. I am fantastic. You know what? This podcast has taken me to places I would never have imagined I would be. I am currently sat in Banbury Retail Park outside of a Pizza Hut, charging my car up on the way to the mothership.
Nice.
But today, we are joined by the one and only Nathan Rose. Nathan is a Microsoft MVP from beautiful Auckland, New Zealand, and is a lead Power Platform consultant for Capgemini. Nathan talks about Power Effects, Power Automate, and more recently has produced some fantastic content on low-code plugins. We'll be touching on that shortly. Nathan, welcome to Sprint Zero. How are you today?
Thanks so much, John and Mike. Thrilled to be here. Huge fan of the show. So yeah, really excited to be hanging out with you guys today. Thanks for having me.
Oh, nice. And Nathan, we've literally just tipped over 400 followers on LinkedIn, which is mega.
I saw that. Yeah, that is amazing. Well done, guys. I mean, hey, it's a great show. So,
Yeah, thank you very much.
Itself.
And
Thank you.
appreciate you coming on at the time it is, just for the benefit of the tape. I know we went through it before. What time is it there for you?
It is 5 after 1 in the morning.
Ouch.
So I'm in the future. So, if you need sports scores, stock tips, I'm your man. Greetings from the future.
Could you give us some predictions on the Six Nations at all?
Yeah. Very good question. I predict that Italy will lose to someone. Ireland will probably beat someone. England is always a toss-up. So you know what they say, the English invented sports that everyone likes to play and plays them badly. And my home country, the United States, invented sports that no one wants to play and declares ourselves world champions.
Brilliant. Yeah, like how do they call baseball in the States? Is it like the World League of Baseball, but only USA?
World Series, World Champions, and
Brilliant.
So pretty much the United States, occasionally Canada, yeah.
Nice. So thanks a lot for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate
Sure.
it. And, I appreciate your support as well. We both do. Do you want to just talk to us a little bit about your journey into tech and kind of more specifically, how you came to be at Capgemini?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a non-traditional background for people who do what we do. I worked in sales for about 10 years before learning that I was really, really bad at it. And got sick of begging for my job every quarter. And I learned that, I really enjoy solving the problem, not so much selling the solution. Despite what the sales training will tell you, no matter how well you've done your job in sales, at some point, all you're going to do is irritate the customer to death until they sign the contract. And that's just not me. So I segued into working as a business analyst, and I did that for a few years and always seemed to fall into Dynamics 365 projects. So in the CRM space before the wonderful Power Platform came to be. And then after a few years of doing that, I fell in love with the Power Platform and decided that I really wanted to do that full time and made my way into consulting. I I got into the Power Platform through I was back in 2019. I was part of the private preview for what we now know today as Copilot Studio. Back then it was called Virtual Agent, and I got to be part of that private preview. I learned how to build cloud flows in Power Automate. My first one took me 2 weeks, but I was absolutely hooked. Loved every step of it, and yeah, ended up doing what I do today. So bounced around through a few consultancies here in New Zealand, and worked for a New Zealand company called Intergen that was acquired a few years ago by Capgemini, and yeah, that's how I ended up where I am today.
Nice, nice. Do you are there quite a few partners out in New Zealand that are based out there?
Yeah, so we've got kind of the big ones. So Capgemini's here, DXC is here. There's a big local partner called Datacom, which is a Kiwi-grown one that would be kind of your local flavor of Capgemini or DXC. And then we've got some smaller and mid-tier partners. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, but yeah,
Nice,
yeah,
nice.
smaller market,
Yeah,
compared to.
and how long have you been in New Zealand for?
So I have been here for 17 years. So yeah, it's been
Wow.
quite a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm only a little bit jealous because I've been to New Zealand and there's a bit of me left over there. I think it was
Yeah.
just an amazing place.
Yeah, no, it's
I mean,
pretty cool. Beautiful country.
I am very jealous, and I've never been to New Zealand, but I've only seen pictures, and yeah, I would love to go there as well.
You've got to come
So
over. Yeah.
yeah, so you said you've been in New Zealand for 17 years. So what
Yep.
prompted the move from the States to New Zealand, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, yeah. So, it's pretty typical story, really. If you marry a Kiwi, you will end up in New Zealand. So, I married a Kiwi. Didn't work out between us, but we have a 16-year-old daughter who we share between us. So, yeah, came for love, stayed for love. And yeah, that's how I ended up here.
I'm going to say something a little bit strange now. I hope you don't mind, but
No
when you
worries.
can tell you're just going to get on with someone straight away.
Yep.
I think Nathan's this guy. Like we've never met before, and I can just tell straight away that yeah, we're gonna get on like a house on fire.
You know what? I actually got that from some of Nathan's video content, and just to say, you have done some fantastic content recently on low code
Oh,
plugins
thank
to
you.
Dataverse.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've really enjoyed those sort of like short videos that you put up and whatnot.
Oh, cheers. Yeah.
For any of our listeners who might be wondering what that all means, can you explain what a plugin is and what's the big deal with them being low code?
Yeah, absolutely. So, years ago, before, when dinosaurs roamed the earth and before we had all of these awesome low-code tools that we have today, anytime we wanted to automate something, so this is back in the days of dynamic CRM, before we had Power Platform, model-driven Canvas apps, or Dataverse, before any of that existed, when we wanted to automate something, we had to write something called a plugin. So it was literally custom code that a developer had to write to automate things, and they would write that in C sharp. Then we had classic workflow come along, and it's still around today. It's not widely in use, but that's still around. And then of course, the big one, Power Automate. The big difference between plugin code and things like Power Automate is that plugins can run synchronously. So that's kind of a key thing whenever you need your logic to run, um, um, without any updates being made to the record. So it's really important when you're working with financial services or anything legal related. You can't, that you need that snapshot in time of the record when you run your automation. So synchronous logic's really important. And until low-code plugins dropped, you really needed a developer for that. So it hasn't received some of the fanfare that some of the things like Copilot have received, but this is actually like a huge deal because this means that we can write synchronous business logic in Dataverse without getting a pro dev involved. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. When it'll be a year in May since this was announced, so it's moved really quickly. I just kind of jumped on it, got super excited about it, and have been, yeah, having to play with it ever since. And the best part about experimental and preview features is that we can work out what's possible, and then eventually we'll dial it back to what's responsible as it goes GA. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And
Is
it's
there any? Is
and
it? Sorry, Mike. Go on.
I was just going to say, it's interesting what you said about you actually need a developer to build those plugins in C Sharp, and
yeah,
as somebody who has written one or two plugins in C Sharp, it could be a real minefield to get that right, to make sure,
yeah,
because it's got to be super efficient, it's got to be quick, it has to run
yeah,
within certain constraints. Like you can't, there's almost like no room for error really, and if you do introduce that
yeah,
error or that inefficiency, it really has a detrimental impact on Dataverse. So yeah, it's really important, and I think
100%.
surfacing that in low code, so that if you could build a Canvas app, you could build a low code plugin, is really really important.
Exactly.
And
Yep.
it's definitely going to replace some of those Power Automate flows that trigger on an update of a record and whatnot. It's gonna make that so much quicker as well.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And one of the super geeky things about it is that what they're doing is you get this great editor in the Dataverse Accelerator app that lets you use Power Effects like you would do in a Canvas app. What's going on behind the scenes is they're actually compiling C# code, and if you dig in the XRM toolbox, you can see there's literally a plugin called Power Effects Evaluator from memory, and then it drops a plugin step in there. But Yeah, what's really cool about it is sorry, I completely lost my train of thought there. So excited about plugins that I forgot where I was going with that. But
It's so exciting, you're just
uh,
getting overexcited.
Yeah.
Plus,
yeah,
it's one of them.
Don't
exactly.
worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Also, yeah,
Yeah,
that's the other thing. You are in the future, so
yeah.
it's fine. I really love your YouTube channel, and you've produced
Oh,
probably
thank
about
you.
60 videos or something like that at the moment.
Yeah, it's getting
What
up
made
there.
you to go down kind of the video content route and producing that?
Yep,
And have you got any tips for anyone who's kind of like
yep.
starting off in that space?
Yeah, absolutely. So I got my start really in 2022 through Mark Smith's 90-day mentoring challenge. And as he was taking us through the elements of becoming a great consultant professional in the business application space, he was talking about doing video content and mentioned that really there was no content on PowerFX. So I said, cool, I'm gonna jump in there and go with it. So I literally just jumped in. I've just started changing my tool set, but this is super embarrassing. Literally, all I do is I set up a meeting with myself in Teams and record myself in Teams. That's all I do. So there's really nothing special about it. I have through my MVP award, I have access to a tool Microsoft um, have called Clipchamp, which lets you do a bit more professional editing. I've started playing around with that, which is really useful. But if you want to get started, you have the tools at your disposal. If you've got a smartphone and a connection to the internet, you can start doing awesome content. So yeah, it's pretty easy to get started. You just literally just you have to just do it. So
And I
Yeah,
think that's really important, isn't it? And as something we touched on in the podcast with a previous guest, Griffin Lickfelt, that if you have to invest so much money to start something like that, you're never going to do it because you don't know whether you're
exactly.
going to be into it. So just starting
Yep.
like at the lower end of the spectrum, like if you just set up a Teams call with yourself and record yourself, it doesn't really matter about the quality. What matters is about the
Yep.
content and whether you enjoy doing
Yep.
it. And then if you do
Yep.
enjoy it and it does kick off, that's when you can say, actually, you know what, can I invest more into this hobby, and can I invest in a better camera, lighting? In our case, I invested in a microphone for the podcast.
Yep.
But
and a car.
when I started, and the car, yeah.
And
When I
did you
started,
did you get enough
I used
Pizza Hut for everyone?
No, unfortunately, I haven't actually gone in yet.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
hooked up to a charger at the moment, so yeah,
Yeah,
just waiting for that to trickle up, and then they'll be on my way. But obviously, I don't drive while I'm recording episodes.
yeah. Safety
I've lost my
first.
train of thought now. But yeah, no, it's really important. Like when you're starting off something like, yeah, whether it's a podcast, whether it's video content, to just like just do it. And
Yeah.
I'm actually on the Mark Smith 90-day challenge with Nathan at the moment, and Mark does really talk about like just getting yourself in front of the camera and just talk and get used to doing it, and it's really helped my confidence massively doing that.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. Last year I posted a little piece of content about my creative process, and it's come up with an idea for a video, get all set up, start recording, lose my train of thought, drop an F-bomb, realize the camera's still recording, stop the recording, repeat steps 1 through 6, realize I'm running out of time, panic, accept that I'm not Tony Robbins, go with what I've got, and yeah, that's pretty much the process. So,
You can
yeah.
drop f bombs here. Don't worry about it.
I think also, just to also add on the flip side of that, is that if you are a content creator and people watching that content, I think people who watch it need to give the content creator a bit of a sometimes a bit of an easier time, because not every content creator can afford a top notch microphone, top notch kind of like studio setup. So I think it kind of goes both ways, and I think people gotta be willing to cut people a bit of slack and let them get into it, and see how it goes.
And that's so important as well for the fact that the content creators are doing it for free as well. Like they're giving you the content. Like it doesn't really matter about the quality, right? At the end of the day, what
Yeah,
matters is the content and what you're doing.
yeah, 100%. Well, I've found that the community, at least in terms of people on LinkedIn, are incredibly supportive. They are, I can't think to a single negative negative comment that I've received from anyone. People are, if you're out there and you're trying, people are incredibly supportive, and yeah, which is just, yeah, really awesome. I think you're muted, Mike, and I
No, I
think we
was,
lost
yeah, but
John.
yeah, John's vanished, but we'll wait for him to come back.
Yeah.
So Nathan, is there anything exciting you're working on at the moment? Anything you'd like to share with us? Obviously, where you're in the future, you've got access to all the latest tech that we don't.
Yeah. Yeah. So I am working on looking at ways that I can hook up hook up to Copilot with low code PowerFX plugins. So it's still a thought bubble, but it's something that I want to explore and get into and start doing some content on. I've got just a big list of stuff that I'm working through. A lot of it's fairly geeky in terms of looping in plugins and environment variables in plugins, and it gets pretty geeky. But yeah, I'm just really kicking the tires on the thing, and so. But yeah, I think taking a look at Copilot and some of the AI capabilities that Microsoft are coming out with, and seeing what we can do with that with low code plugins is yeah, I'm starting to get excited about that. I saw some demos at the Power Platform Bootcamp a couple of weeks ago that have really kind of stoked the fires of creativity, and I'm looking forward to having a play with that. Yeah.
And you also presented at the boot camp, did you not, with one of your friends about Power Pages and plugins?
I did, yeah. So Raghavan Rajan, who's
Mm.
another MVP here in New Zealand, he and I did a demo at the boot camp where we paired up Power Pages and low code plugins, and it was a bit of a first. So in terms of pairing them up together, but also we had our plugin calling two connectors from a single plugin. Mercifully, it worked for us in the room. Unfortunately, as everybody saw in the YouTube demo, the custom connector decided to throw a temper tantrum. But Yeah,
As
it's
I
all
do.
par for the course when
Yeah.
you're doing these things. So yeah, it's like your kids, right? They know exactly when to embarrass you. Like small
Yeah.
audience, nah, we'll behave. Big audience, like let's now we'll throw the temper tantrum.
Save a meltdown for the supermarket, right?
Exactly, exactly.
John, are you back with us? No, he's
Oh, we
not.
just lost him again. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what's really surprising is that I thought I would be the one that would be dropping in and out because I am really pushing EE's cheapest mobile tier to its limits by
Yeah.
doing this recording. And John sat at home with his nice stable internet connection. He's the one that's dropping in and out.
Yeah.
um, no worries. Well, you know what? We'll just move on to the next section. So, as you probably know, as you are a listener of the show, we have this section called Uncomfortable Corner.
Uncomfortable corner.
I'll fill it in for John at this point. Oh, the
Yeah.
scream always gets me. The scream always gets me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Nathan, uncomfortable corner. And when was the last time you felt uncomfortable, whether it was inside or outside of work? Explain how you
Yep.
felt, how you managed to get through it, and what did you learn, whether it was about yourself, your skills, or your emotions? And what would you maybe do differently or the same if you found yourself in a similar position next time?
Yep, absolutely. So I'm probably the least smooth man who ever lived. People often wonder if I'm literally that uncool or I'm just doing some weird performance art. So I'm fairly used to being uncomfortable. I'll tell you the funny one first. So this is completely outside of work, but back in January I was flying back from my parents' house in the States. I'd spent Christmas with my parents back in America. I'm flying back to New Zealand, and I've scored a free upgrade on the long flight from Houston back to Auckland. So in
Nice.
business class, awesome. Didn't have to pay for it, even better. So
Nice.
making it even better, Air New Zealand have leased this aircraft from Cathay Pacific. So it's not just business class, it's like Cathay Pacific business class, like super swish. Um, However, all the flight attendants, it's their first time on this aircraft, so nobody has any idea how anything works. Anyways, you get it to get into the seat. There's like a 2 foot entrance to kind of get into it in this herringbone, and then you've got heaps of space to stretch out. So after dinner, I put the thing down into a bed, shimmy into the seat, and I'm lying in this thing, and I realize that I can't move my legs and I can't move my upper body, and my hips are at this entrance to get in and out of the seat. And I'm like, I don't think I can get out of this thing. And
Oh
I'm like,
no.
starting to like have a mild panic attack because I'm like, I don't think I can get out of this. But at the same time, I'm like, it's like 14 hours to Auckland. I should probably try to sleep. So I'm in this weird position of like trying to fall asleep while having a mild panic attack. And
Oh,
yeah, it's not not the easiest thing to do. So after about an hour, I discovered that the seat controls were within my reach and slowly managed to get the thing up into the seated position again. And that was it for me. I was done. I was like, okay, I will just sit in the thing and doze. So that's the funny story. Yeah. All seriousness aside, though, I guess yeah. So I am. I am a massive people pleaser, so I am terrible at saying what needs to be said, and so I find that on a project I will often struggle when we need to have that conversation with the client, and it's definitely an area of growth for me. I had last year we had a client just completely throw their toys out of the cot, and I just ran for the hills on that one. Not my finest hour. But it is definitely an area of growth for me. Just I think the first thing is just saying, okay, this is something that I'm bad at. I need to improve at. But yeah, the next bit is then saying, once you're aware of it, is when you're in these situations where, okay, someone, got a client who's unhappy, or someone who isn't, they're not happy about something, learning to frame that in terms of, okay, this is the situation. It's not necessarily personal. How do we work through this and resolve it? So yeah.
Yeah, I think we both suffer from that one. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what have you found has helped you to get over or to handle that situation? Like, if it presented to you tomorrow, because I think a lot of people would have found themselves in that situation, right? Of having to have that really difficult conversation, and that one imposter syndrome kicks in, and that fight or flight kicks in as well.
Yeah.
How have you found that you can deal with that? How would you approach that now?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is to prep ahead of time. So, and you can't always do that, but I guess I tend to kind of go into most situations with that, sunny disposition and just expect people will like me. And for the most part, it generally works. But I think, when you do have as much as possible, if you can prepare ahead of time and just say, okay, if they're going to say this, I'm going to say that, even if it doesn't play out exactly the way you think it will, you've forearmed yourself and you've prepared a bit so that you're in that headspace where you're prepared to have that difficult chat. And I think the other thing is just to when you have to approach conflict like that is to be able to come from the perspective of, I want you to win. I want you, the client, to win. I want the project to win. I want the team to win. We might disagree over things, but this is, this isn't personal.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's a that's the important bit, I think, as well, between the client and the partner, or the client and the consultant, is that it's a mutually beneficial situation, right? So
yep,
and that's why I really kind of bang on about how we should be using the word client and not customer, because
yep,
actually we're trying to bring them along on the journey that we're also on, and
yep,
trying to get something that's mutually beneficial for both of us, for both parties.
absolutely,
Mm.
absolutely, yeah. And it's, the reality is that as the tech is developing probably as fast as some of the projects that we do. It's
Yeah.
the tech available to us at the end of the project could be completely different than at the start of it. And so it's really about just being as open and forthright with clients as possible. And when we have things that we don't know, just saying, you know what, I don't know. We're gonna have to figure that out. So
Yeah, and
And I
sometimes
don't
that
know
goes in
is
our favour, right?
it
Sorry,
does, yeah.
sometimes that goes in our favour. So,
yep,
like even today, me and Mike have just been talking about the save data and load data function in Canvas apps, and I've been a
yep,
little bit stressing about that because Canvas apps aren't really my strong point. I'm getting better, and
yep,
then I realised that the mobile offline capability, which is with model driven apps, is going GA
yeah,
this month in Canvas apps, and I'm like, woohoo,
yeah,
nice, right
yep,
Yeah, you
result.
yep.
couldn't have timed that any better,
I know
could you?
that was well good. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's that sort of like honesty as well. There's a book recommendation me and John always dish out called "Will It Make the Boat Go Faster?" I don't know if you've heard of that one, Nathan. It's about the Olympic rowing team in the two. It was sort
Yeah.
of the lead up to the. I think it was the 2000 Olympics, or was it 2002? I can't remember
2000 or
what year.
2004, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
2004, that's it. And they
I think so.
they go through a whole training regime because they were essentially almost like the laughing stock of the rowing world, and
Yep.
they put together this whole mentality for their team as to like how they act and how they behave, and the fact that they will call out things as they need to call them out, and it's not about
Yep.
essentially being an arsehole. It's about what's beneficial to the team to get to our goal of making the boat go faster,
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
and you're in that
Yeah.
journey with the client
Yep.
to
Yep.
get
Absolutely.
get the project to the end. So yeah, definitely that.
Yeah. 100%.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
sorry about my intermittent internet. I hope you had a really good chat without me at times.
I was just
Yeah.
saying
happens,
to Nathan,
man.
John, that I was surprised that it wasn't me that was dropping in and out. I'm the one that's on.
No, I know.
I literally
Yeah.
pay £8 a month for my mobile service, and
Oh,
I really
that's
thought that
impressive.
it would drop in and out. But I've surprisingly been fairly stable. So yeah, good.
Yeah,
news,
yours has been
podcast on the road.
fine. I've been having problems
Yeah.
with it. I've been having problems with it like all day today. So yeah, sorry about that. But
That's
yeah,
all right.
I think that's kind of nearly all we've got time for.
Yeah,
I just
that's
want to
all
say
right.
thank you very much, Nathan, for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
You
same.
can
Yeah, of
find
course.
him on LinkedIn and X, and I'm gonna hopefully pronounce this right. Aroha Automation website, is that right?
Yep. So yeah, I haven't maintained that one for quite a while, but I probably should.
Okay.
So LinkedIn is the
Okay,
best place to get me.
Nice. So all of his links will be mentioned in the show notes of this episode. Music today was provided by Ken Like Fit, which you can find his music on Spotify, and again a link to his music will be in the episode show notes, and any additional music will also be credited there. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss the next episode, and we'd really appreciate it if you gave us a follow on LinkedIn, and if you're really enjoying the podcast, then please give us a review on your chosen podcast platform. Thank you very much. This has been Sprint Zero, and we've been Mike Gowland. Say goodbye, Mike.
Goodbye, Mike.
And with Nathan Rose. Say goodbye, Nathan.
Bye, Nathan.
And I'm John. See you on the next episode. Cheers. Thanks a lot.
You know what we didn't say? I'm really sorry. I didn't introduce it with Kia Ora, did I?
Oh, that's all right. Yeah.
Kia Ora. I know that means the other thing, but lovely job.
Yeah, traditional
Lovely David.
Maori greeting. Yeah. No, that's all right.
Nice.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah,
Lovely
but
job.
yeah,
Lovely Nathan.
don't stress about the internet. Mine cut out in the middle of a live stream for the Microsoft Reactor last year. So
Good.
yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, there's like a 2-minute blackout in the middle of the YouTube recording.
Love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Warning. The following scenes may contain references to power pages and portals which some listeners may find disturbing. Especially if you've struggled with poor training in the past.
Hey all, Franco Musso here again. Quick update on that hostage situation. Hopefully the smell isn't coming across the airwaves. I haven't let the guys use the bathroom yet, so the joke's definitely on me. Anyway, big announcement. I'm finally releasing my online Power Pages course. This has been 5 years in the making. It's tried and tested on citizen devs and portal makers all around the world. It's the course I wish existed when I was getting started. It's practical, it's hands-on, and it's project-based, so you're not wondering how the heck this would apply to the real world. I've built in battle-tested lessons I've learned from tens of successful portal projects across various industries, budgets and geographies, and I've formulated the most efficient route from zero to heroic launch. The tools and techniques I've chosen to show you are all based on what adds the most value to you, the learner, and to your customers, all in the most compressed timeline possible. Think 80-20, focusing on the techniques that punch above their weight and deliver the majority of results. You'll get video lessons, a repeatable framework, and some super helpful worksheets. Visit francomusso.com/power-pages-course and register your interest. Disclaimer, this course isn't for you if you prefer hours of slides, theory, and little to no action. You can now take your fingers out of your ears and enjoy the awesome that is Sprint Zero.